Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in for episode 2 of WWE Weekly. And if you guys are first-time viewers, make sure you leave this video a like as it continues to help this channel to grow. And click the subscribe button and notification bell so you will not miss any of the videos that I post on this channel. Now, these type of videos, the WWE Weekly is to go over SmackDown and Raw. But we know Backlash is coming up, and I will do a separate preview video for the PLE Backlash that's going to happen this Saturday. So, nonetheless, let's get into SmackDown, which, let's just be honest, SmackDown was very, very lackluster. When we're talking about some of the stories, whether we're talking about the matches itself, SmackDown was just not a very good show. I'm not going to lie. I had to do things to kind of keep myself a bit interested while watching SmackDown, and it was just not a very good episode in my opinion. But we're gonna go through it nonetheless. It might be a little short because it just wasn't interested enough. But the one thing that we did have is LA Knight and Damian Priest coming out from the beginning of the show to cutting a promo on each other, and it just seems like both of them were going back and forth. LA Knight was going back and forth on how Damian Priest lost him the title, and Damian Priest was saying how you should have won and things like that. Good promo. That match had potential, and it was an impromptu match, which was supposed to be a main event match, but it was an impromptu match at the beginning of the show, which, oddly enough, solid match, but ended in a no contest, of course, because Solo Sikoa just cannot stay his nose out of people's business. Jacob Fatu and the whole Solo Sikoa thing, I think that's brewing for a SummerSlam match, if we're going to be honest. I think at some point, Jacob Fatu or Solo, one of them is going to turn on each other. I just really feel that that's the way that route is going. But nonetheless, very solid match with Jacob Fatu coming out on top to lay out Damian Priest and LA Knight. So it was one of those matches. It was solid, cool, but it was what it is. Fraxium versus Pretty Deadly, which I don't know. I thought Pretty Deadly was one of those teams that was going to get released by the WWE, and I'll probably get into that mid-segment of this episode, but the WWE, I think Fraxium, I didn't see too much of them. I do watch NXT, but I haven't seen a ton of Fraxium because I've kind of been in and out of NXT. I've been catching up a little bit more as of late, but I want to say the past couple months I've probably been in and out of watching it. But anyway it goes, solid tag team match. Fraxium, I think, are starting to put themselves in a contention for a SmackDown, the WWE tag team titles. But I always feel if the way that Fraxium goes out and performs and the way that they can carry good matches, I felt that they should be on Raw to help boost their tag team division, which has probably been basically nothing, versus putting them on SmackDown. That's just my opinion. I think the Raw tag team division needs a little refresh. SmackDown's tag team division is very solid. We seen with the TLC match last week, 2 weeks ago, that SmackDown tag team is very, very good, and I personally don't like to. I would like to see Fraxium on Raw. Help boost that. Pretty Deadly is a solid tag team on his own, but it is what it is. But Nia Jax returned last week to confront Tiffany Stratton, and we just knew this was going to end the shenanigans, which resulted in a brawl. Naomi attacking Jade Cargill coming out to get Naomi, and Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton going at it, which led to an impromptu tag team match between the two later in the night. And then we had Aleister Black, who had his WWE return match against The Miz. Now, Aleister Black can really go in the ring. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this Miz-Carmelo Hayes thing. I think get Carmelo away from The Miz. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but Carmelo was one of those NXT stars who just looked like they were promised for big things. And it seems like after the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, a lot of superstars kind of go down. And he won the Battle Royal. He had the Andre chain that The Miz gave him. But I just personally think at some point, he's going to have to go over The Miz. He is going to have to get put over and make into a bigger star because Carmelo is very talented. He can really go in the ring. He has good mic skills. I really want to see him flourish. Now, Aleister Black, I mean, he's one of the more technical, one of the more big wrestlers that I kind of like. I'm not going to say I'm all familiar with him. I know a lot about him. I didn't see him a lot in AEW because I really just don't watch AEW. But I really like Aleister Black. I like Aleister Black. I'm interested to see where they're going to go with him. Solid match versus The Miz. And The Miz can still give a good match. As much as crazy it is to sound, Miz is very good on the mic and he can still give a good match. Now, Zelina Vega versus Piper Niven. I'm going to be honest. I love Zelina Vega. She can really go. I'm just interested to see where they're going to go. They can't, first of all, they need to change the damn music. That's number one. For her to be the champion and not really get that much of a pop, I really feel like she needs a music change. I'm not going to say too much of a gimmick change, but I think kind of like Xavier Woods, they kind of failed to capitalize on them with the Queen and King and Queen of the Ring thing. I think they failed to capitalize on Zelina Vega's run as the Queen of the Ring. So I would really like to see how further she can go with this title. Now, it's interesting to see how, like, the U.S. title has kind of been. It's that mid-card women's title with the very talented women's division. I like Zelina. I like Piper Niven. Piper Niven can give good matches. I'm interested to see where they're going to go with Chelsea whole thing after, post United States title. If they're going to give her a rematch or they're going to give Piper somebody a type of a match. I'm interested to see where they're going to go. Zelina Vega, Piper Niven, good match. But I'm interested to see where they're going to go with the Zelina Vega thing. I just think she needs a music change. And two, I really think they need to give her a bit of a storyline to help carry and help kind of elevate that Women's United States title. Because it's kind of been sitting kind of meh for the most part. I just wish they would give it somewhat of a storyline. Now, the promo that Randy Orton cut on John Cena was absolutely tremendous. With him talking about the kids, with him talking about the past rivalry, with him talking about it, putting another legend down with John Cena. That was absolute just perfection. And I think that was the highlight of the night. The highlight of the night was this promo that Randy Orton cut on John Cena. And he vowed to punt John Cena in the head, which I wish we could have seen that with the whole Kevin Owens thing. But I think Backlash I think it's a little bit quick at the WrestleMania, but I think the last time with these two, with the Randy Orton John Cena feud, I really would love to see how that match plays out. Which I think I'll get into that in the Backlash prediction. Now, I'll probably post that either Thursday or Friday, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But that is a match I am very interested in seeing. Next is Rey Fenix versus Santos Escobar. I like Rey Fenix. I'm just now getting more familiar with him. Like I said, I didn't watch him in AEW, just like his brother Penta. Didn't watch him in AEW, but I really like Rey Fenix. He can go. Santos Escobar, they're giving him a bit of a storyline. Andrade coming backstage with him and Angel and Berto. I really like that kind of thing for the luchadors. We know they had the whole AAA deal, and Rey Fenix ended up picking up the victory, but I just like where Rey Fenix can go. I'm interested to see where that whole storyline comes into with the whole Legado del Fantasma. I'm interested to see how they go. Are they going to split up the group? It seems like it's heading towards that way, but we shall see. Next, we have the main event of the night, Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill versus Naomi and Nia Jax. And earlier in the night, Naomi was bringing up how Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton made her life hell when Naomi was chasing after the WWE Women's title, when Nia Jax had the crown. And it all set up for these four, I think, to have a fatal four-way match at some point. I don't think it's going to be a Backlash, but it's just setting itself up for a fatal four-way match at some point with all wanting to go after Tiffany Stratton's title. The match overall, very solid match, but I knew Tiffany and Jay were going to win, which Jay ended up winning that match. So I really would just like to see how they're going to take this story going forward. I like the fact that they kind of broken Jade Cargill up from the tag team division, see how she's going to do singles run. Naomi, I really like the fact that she turned heel because the glow thing was kind of going And Tiffany Stratton, she's solid in the ring, but I really like to see a little bit more from her. I thought we were going to get a little bit more versus Charlotte, but that match kind of underwhelmed a bit. But I think all of this is setting up for a fatal four-way, and then Naomi attacking Jade Cargill after the match, which was kind of like apropos or kind of expected to happen. I just really want to see how they're going to take this. It's just set itself up for a fatal four-way match between these four women. And I'm really intrigued to see how that goes. Today's video is brought to you by ExpressVPN. For me, it is very important to have a VPN to protect my online privacy. It'd be very, very creepy if there was someone out there who kept a log of every single thing that you did online. So why let your internet provider really do that to you online? The best thing to do is to get yourself a VPN, and why not go with the ExpressVPN, the best VPN available. Personally, I like it for the fact that you can unlock Netflix shows that you do not get in the US market. Now, one show that I've started to get myself into is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You search Brooklyn Nine-Nine in the US, doesn't come up, but you can switch your location to Canada, and you can research Brooklyn Nine-Nine again, and bam, it pops up right then and there, and you can catch up on your episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now, if you click the link in the description below, you will get 3 free months of ExpressVPN. Just by clicking the link below and you sign up today, you will get 3 months free of ExpressVPN. All you have to do is click the link down below, and you will get ExpressVPN. Now, let's just get back to the video. All right, we're going to start with the releases. Braun Strowman, Shayna Baszler, Dakota Kai, and Kane Carter and Katana Chance on the main roster. Shayna Baszler, I think the WWE dropped the ball on her. I think she should have been a Women's Royal Rumble winner in 2020 with her dominant reign. I think she should be a former WWE Women's Champion. Braun Strowman, I think, very solid wrestler, but at the point, where are they going to go with him is almost kind of the same thing, but he did do a good job putting over Bronson Reed and Jacob Fatu. Dakota Kai, I think her problem was just the injury bug. It seemed like when she started to get into a storyline, the injury bug caught up with her. Knee injuries, concussions, I just think the injury bug caught up with her, and it sucks to see Damage Control pretty much broken up at this point, with EO being the main star, and Kairi Sane and Asuka still on the injured list. Kane Carter, Katana Chance don't really surprise me so much as far as them being released. They haven't really been on TV like that. They haven't really been shown, so I'm not really surprised at that. But they did do a lot of NXT releases. Cora Jade, Gigi Dolan, Eddie Thorpe, Jakara Jackson, Riley Osborne, Joe Coffey, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang, which made up Gallus. Ora Mensa, Javier Bernal, and Danny Palmer. I'll be honest, not familiar with Danny Palmer and Javier Bernal. Not all the way familiar with Ora Mensa, even though they made up the metaphor with Jakara Jackson. Cora Jade is a bit of a surprise to me, mainly because she does have talent, but she had the same problem Dakota had with the injury history. She had a bit of an injury history. Gigi Dolan, I'm not too familiar with her. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. Not too familiar. Eddie Thorpe had a bit of a run, but I'm not really too familiar. Jakara Jackson, I really want to see something out of her and Lash Legend together as a tag team. It kind of helped boost the women's tag team division. They gave them a little bit of a push earlier with Bianca and Jade holding the belts. I really would like to see what if Jakara Jackson could have done. I really had some faith that she could have went somewhere. I really do. Her and Cora Jade both. Those two, I think, are the biggest surprises as far as releases go, because I think both of them were very talented in the ring. Both of them can go, but them being released is a little bit of a surprise to me. I really wanted to see what those two women would have done. We've given a little bit more time to further their career in NXT and possibly the main roster. I think Cora Jade, without the injury history, probably would have been on the main roster sooner than Jakara Jackson would have been, but I think they're gonna, after this, they're probably gonna push Lash Legend a little bit more in a singles run, or give her the North America title, or at some point give her NXT Championship match, because Lash Legend can really go in the ring. So I think breaking up the metaphor was almost set up for the releases of Jakar and Ornaments. Those are my thoughts on that. Now we're gonna get into Monday Night Raw, which started off crazy with Jey Uso coming out to cut a promo, only to be surprisingly cut off by Paul Heyman, which Paul Heyman went on this big tirade about how Roman Reigns, when he lost the title at WrestleMania, didn't come back for Paul Heyman. Instead, he came back to get the Ula Fala back, and it really wasn't for Heyman. And then he talked about CM Punk, who put him in a corner with the whole favorite thing. He went on a complete tirade. And one thing about Paul Heyman, he can sell a story. Paul Heyman can sell a story and give a tremendous promo, which is why he's a Hall of Fame manager. Paul Heyman just really gave the promo, and Jey Uso after that was like, what does that got to do with me? And they tied into Seth Rollins going after the World Heavyweight title, which eventually became the main event of the night, which I will get into that later. But that was the tremendous way to start off the show. Then Penta versus JD McDonough. That was a good match. But what is a Judgment Day match without shenanigans? Of course, with JD McDonough and, of course, Carlito distracting the referee. And Chad Gable even getting in the way. It was almost 4 against 1 with Gable, McDonough, and Carlito versus Penta, which Penta ended up coming out with the win with hitting the Mexican Destroyer on McDonough. But I really like JD McDonough in ring ability, and he's been showing that ever since he came back from injury. JD McDonough can really, really go in the ring. So can Penta. But that set up an Intercontinental Championship match between Penta and Dom at Backlash, which I will get into that later on in the week. But Penta, I'm becoming more and more of a fan of his in-ring ability, and I'm really becoming more and more of a fan of JD McDonough's in-ring ability. I think the last couple of weeks have started to show how truly good that JD McDonough is inside of the squared circle. He can really go. I'm just gonna be honest. Of course, with their Judgment Day, you're gonna get some shenanigans. And I have a funny feeling that Finn is going to eventually turn on Dom. I just have a funny feeling that the Judgment Day, as we know it, is not going to last too long. I just think Finn at some point, or they're going to get sick of Finn. One of the two storyline happens, they are going to eventually get rid of the Judgment Day, or Finn is going. Something is going to happen. Mark my words, something is going to happen with that. But then we had Austin Theory, who got put into a match by Grayson Waller, and it ended up being the return of Sheamus. And can we just break up Grayson Waller and Austin Theory? It's been teased for too long for it not to happen. It's been teased for them two to have a breakup so long for it not to happen at all. I want to see it. I truly want to see it. The whole back of them back and forth is starting to get annoying. I really want to see at some point either Austin Theory finally comes to his senses and turns on him, or Grayson does the selfish thing and attacks him. I'm waiting to see that to happen. It's been building, I want to say, for at least since they lost the WWE Tag Team titles. It's been building for them to kind of have a split. And I want to see Austin Theory and Grayson Waller kind of back on those singles paths. It's too long. It's been too long of a wait. Some point, I think the WWE has to pull the trigger on it. But Sheamus looked good in his return match. Still put on a banger after banger. And I just want to see Waller and Theory break up. But then we have Becky Lynch coming out to call out Lyra Valkyria about how Bayley was garbage. She took out the garbage, and Lyra's going to be garbage. I'm interested to see how that whole dynamic is going to play out. But they got into a brawl, which was inevitable the way that Becky Lynch kind of seems jealous that she wasn't the first Women's Intercontinental champion, and that belonged to Lyra Valkyria. Lyra Valkyria pointed that out, that how Becky has done it all, but she hasn't won a Women's Intercontinental title, and she kind of has that jealousy about her, that it wasn't her, and Becky is making it all about her. While she was gone, everybody had their great years because she wasn't around. This feud, I think, is going to put Lyra up if they actually put her over. I hope, I'll get into my thoughts about Backlash later, but like I said, I'll do that in a separate video. But I just really want Lyra Valkyria to kind of keep raising the Women's Intercontinental title and kind of keep raising that division. I think this is the perfect kind of a story to get Lyra Valkyria involved in. Ever since she won the title, Becky Lynch turning heel has kind of proved genius as far as if they want to give this Women's Intercontinental Championship a good prestige, and if they want to get Lyra a good storyline to kind of continue to push her into a top single star. So I really like this for the sake of Lyra Valkyria. Now, the Women's World Champion, Io Sky and Roxanne Perez, I'm not going to lie, I'm a fan of both of these women's wrestling ability. I'm a fan of Lyra. I'm not Lyra. I'm a fan of Io, and I'm also a fan of Roxanne Perez and their ability to go on the ring, which they put on a very good match, as Io Sky usually does. Put on very good matches, and personally, I think with her, Bianca, and Rhea, and I think they're probably the top three women, and I probably think in-ring ability, I think Io is probably the best woman in the WWE roster as far as in-ring ability goes. Guys can debate me on that. You can debate me in the comment section, but I really feel that Io Sky has the best in-ring ability as far as the in-ring, like I said, in-ring goes in the WWE, is the women's division. Roxanne Perez, the Prodigy, and we're starting to see more and more that vicious side of why they call her the Prodigy, which Io Sky ended up picking up the match. They had all the pin combinations to end the match, which I think was kind of wild. But at the end of the day, Io Sky ended up picking up the win. And I think they shook hands afterwards, but it was all a setup for Julia to come out and attack Roxanne Perez. And they did it while Rhea Ripley was gone promoting Perth Crown Jewel, which was kind of perfect setup for the tag team match between those two, Julia and Roxanne versus Io and Ripley. It was a setup for that, which I think is going to be a tremendous match, and it's going to tell more of a story with them two from NXT coming up, and then we have Rhea and Io, the more established stars. I think this is perfect. I think this is going to be perfect for all four women. And all four women have very talented in-ring ability. Now we're going to Rusev versus Otis and Rusev's first WWE match in, I think, 5 years, if I want to believe. And I like Otis. I just wish they would stop having him lose. And two, get rid of the damn Alpha Academy thing ever since Chad Gable left. Have it something else. I'm sorry. I like Otis. I do. But I just think the whole Alpha Academy thing, they're still carrying on with that. Give him something of a better role, in my opinion. It's just like he's that big guy that keeps he's almost a jobber at this point, and I don't like that for Otis. He's basically a jobber along with Tozawa at this point. Alpha Academy has basically become a jobber group, and I'm not a fan of it. Because Otis has charisma, he has talent, he can go. Tozawa with the group, it makes sense, but I just wish they would give them a bit of, number one, a better storyline, two, have them actually win a damn match. But nonetheless, we just knew Rusev, he's on his path of destruction since coming back into the WWE fold. At some point, I think it's going to be some type of a title picture, and after the match, Akira Tozawa came to save him, only for Rusev to destroy both of them. And like I said, I like Rusev. I like this time before when he left the WWE. Very talented, but I just think Otis needs to be put in a better light. Then we have a tremendous promo between Gunther and Pat McAfee, which Pat McAfee was saying, you don't attack Michael Cole. You're basically he, at the whole day, he called him soft. And the fans were screaming he tapped out as he tapped out to Jey Uso at WrestleMania. Gunther now has his full attention, vowed to squash Pat McAfee. He vowed, it's going to take the Lord's grace to keep my hands from around your neck. I'm interested to see this match because I'm a fan of Pat McAfee. I will be honest. I'm a fan of Pat McAfee. I don't watch his show as much as I probably should, but I am a fan of Pat McAfee. And he went on a whole spiel about how him being from Pittsburgh and how him coming up and then living a dream and being in WWE. And Gunther is now taking Pat McAfee serious as we head into Backlash. And this is a match I'm very interested to see. How are they going to play this out? How are they going to do it? Like I said, I will get in Backlash in another video later this week. But I'm very interested to see. Now we go into the main event. Jey Uso versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight title. I was one, if you guys follow me on Twitter at APW Sports, I just knew, or X now, I just knew this match could not end clean. The way that Paul Heyman grilled Roman and grilled CM Punk, this match was not going to end clean. And the way that Seth and Bron attacked Sami last week, the match wasn't going to end clean. And it was a very, very good match. Very good back and forth match. To the whole crowd that thinks Jey Uso can't wrestle, shut the hell up. Shut up. I will be honest, I'm so tired of this. The WWE universe is so damn fickle, and I'll be honest, they are so damn fickle. John Cena has a point when he does say, the crowd don't know what they want because they don't. A lot of people wanted Jey Uso to win, but now he's the champion. A lot of people are complaining about it. A lot of people are complaining about Jey Uso being champion, and I'm sick of it. A lot of people in the WWE universe, the IWC, just don't know what the hell they want, and it seems like John Cena was dead spot on. I wanted Jey Uso to win. I want to see how he's going to do with the title. I want to see it. I'm not saying that Jey Uso can't wrestle. We know he can wrestle, Russ. Come on now. And he proved in this type of a match versus a guy like Seth Rollins, he can go in a match. And that was a fantastic match. But the shenanigans were bound to happen, like I said. And Sami Zayn came out. Bron Breakker got involved. Sami Zayn came out and attacked Bron Breakker. And Bron Breakker got involved and speared Jey Uso, which it looked like it was going to be a short-lived reign for Jey Uso, and I would have not have liked that. Because like I said, I wanted to see how Jey Uso was going to do with the title. How are they going to book him with the title now that he has it? But we got what we kind of wanted. After Bron Breakker hit Jey Uso with the spear, threw him in the ring. Jey Uso gets hit with the curb stomp, only for the Second City Saints CM Punk to come out with the steel chair and attack Breakker and Seth Rollins with the steel chair to end the match via disqualification. What a way to end Monday Night Raw. SmackDown needs to learn a thing or two from Monday Night Raw with the storytelling of how this is going to go. And I really loved that whole entire end. The match was great between Uso and Rollins. The story was told with Bron Breakker getting involved to have Seth Rollins push him to the mountaintop, and they hitting their plan is to get Seth Rollins the title so he has all the power and control. A story was told with Sami Zayn getting attacked last week and him being involved in the match to help his friend Jey Uso and to kind of have his back and to get his revenge. And then CM Punk, who helped Uso and his family at Survivor Series, getting back involved and attacking Seth Rollins, who he has a long-standing rivalry with, and Bron Breakker, who attacked him to Raw at the WrestleMania. This was a perfect way to end a Monday Night Raw. But what we didn't see, and then clips are showed on social media, Logan Paul attacked Jey Uso after Raw concluded, which I think the WWE is still going to go the route of a Logan Paul Jey Uso match at some point, which I don't think is going to be a Backlash, which I kind of don't hope for it to be a Backlash because it's not really much of a rivalry that kind of built for this. So I do want to see this, but Logan Paul better not come out victorious, or else I'm going to be pissed. But that concludes WWE Weekly Episode 2. Stay tuned later on this week for my Backlash preview and predictions episode, which is going to be different from WWE Weekly. But I'll be doing the PLE reviews and things throughout the course of every PLE. But I am APW Sports signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great legacy day. I'll catch you guys later.